Welcome to the PSA World Tour. We're back again in the budding squash hub of Cairo for the biggest event of the year at the Wadi Degla Club. It's the PSA Men's World Championship 2016, live from Cairo. So the semi-finals this evening, Mohammed ElShorbagy, the #1 seed and world #1 from Egypt, taking on his compatriot Karim Abdul-Gawad, the #6 seed. And in the second semi-final, unfortunately, the French general Gregory Gaultier sustaining an ankle injury, and so therefore Ramy Ashour books his place into the final. Well, I'm Joey Barrington, and joining me for the semi-finals this evening, we have Paul Johnson. Good evening, PJ.
Good evening, Joey.
It's a real shame with the bottom half of the draw, the French general leading the charge of non-Egyptians in this event, unfortunately having to pull out. But the top half of the draw, Karim Abdul-Gawad, who's now at #3 in the world rankings. He's up against his rival, really, Mohammed ElShorbagy.
Well, it's devastating that Gaultier couldn't make it through to tonight's semi-final, but this all-Egyptian first semi-final will be an absolute epic, I'm sure.
Well, we're now ready for the introduction. We're going to head down to courtside with your MC, Robert Edwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the last match of the evening. We already know that Ramy Ashour waits the winner in the final. But who is he going to meet? We have two superb stars, both from Egypt. The first one, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring out is obviously in great form. Runner-up recently at Hong Kong, the Al Ahram champion. One of the super players of the tour at the moment, showing great talents. Will you please welcome, from Egypt, it can only be one particular guy, and it is going to be Karim Abdul-Gawad. Okay, we have one player. We're ready for the second one, and they don't get bigger than this guy. Not only is he tall in physical stature, but he is also the world's #1 player. Ladies and gentlemen, multiple British Open champion. This is the title he wants more than any. Will you please welcome the #1 seed, another Egyptian. Please welcome Mohammed ElShorbagy.
Well, it's a packed house. It's been heavily contended throughout the whole of the week. We're just going to have a look at the run-through from Karim Abdul-Gawad. This was a 64 draw, and it was a huge match between his compatriot, Mohammed Abu-Elga. Abu-Elga sustained a little bit of an injury right at the end of that 5th game. I wouldn't say, PJ, that Gawad has been firing on all cylinders. Again, another potential banana skin with Max Lee.
11-6.
He's certainly not hit full stride yet, Gawad, but here he is again in the semi-finals of the World Championships. Still waiting to hit full throttle, Gawad.
Well, this was the potential stop for Karim Abdul-Gawad, but unfortunately Nick Matthew coming down with a bit of an illness. He wasn't 100% and could not perform in like he did against Gawad in Philadelphia, where he beat the Egyptian. He still had to beat him, the Egyptian, but he got through 3 games to love. So he's actually got into this stage relatively unscathed, apart from that 5-setter in the first round. And then Mohammed ElShorbagy, very confident coming into this World Championship, PJ, with winning the US Open. He had a good run out with Rex Hedrick in the first round. He has looked quite relaxed. I mean, the one that really stood out for us after taking out Ollie Tuominen in the second round
Sure.
Was when he was up against Ali Farag in the quarter-final stage. But Ollie Tumanin, who is a very experienced campaigner, not troubling Shorbagy. And Ali Fati, the unseeded Egyptian, played so well in the event, but unfortunately for him, stopped by Shorbagy. So really, Shorbagy coming into the quarterfinals, that was the big match. It was a revenge match for him against Farag. He'd never beaten Farag before on the PSA World Tour, lost out to him in Al Aram, and he didn't half go for the jugular against Farag.
And it didn't end there, Joey, did it? There was plenty of altercations after this match. It did end up somewhat kind of ugly, shall we say. But he really had a point to prove, ElShorbagy. You can tell there by the reaction of the #1 seed. This was personal between these two.
11-8, 11-5, 11-8.
Very different personalities. Kareem Abdul-Gawad is known as the baby-faced assassin. He's the most relaxed player, really, I would say, in the top 5 in the world. 25 years of age, same age group as Shorbagy, playing the best squash of his life, winning Al Aram at the Pyramids just back in September. Also runner-up in the first World Series event in Hong Kong, beginning of the season. So a dream, really, a dream start for the 2016-2017 season for Abdul-Gawad at #3 in the world rankings. Just looking back at that, 2008, 234. For me, 2015 is when he made his biggest move. But once, after the summer break, he steamed ahead in the top 10 and was just behind Gregory Gaultier and Shorbagy, who's got an extensive lead at world #1. ElShorbagy is setting records with his world #1 ranking. He's in the all-time greats for his commitment on the PSA World Tour. He won the US Open against Matthew. He's been twice runner-up, PJ. We've seen those classic encounters in the World Championships. He's not won this event.
Yep.
And so the fact that it's in his own backyard in Cairo, I mean, he is from Alexandria, but it is in Egypt, and this is huge for him. Just looking at that court time, PJ, 155 minutes compared to 237 for Abdul-Gawad. I do feel, though, with Abdul-Gawad, he had that tussle with Abu Elga, but the rounds have got more comfortable for him. I mean, Nick Matthew wasn't 100%, but I would say physically that he's not in bad order for this semi-final against Shorbagy.
Yeah,
I know you think slightly
I'm
differently.
going to slightly disagree with you on that one, Joey. We look at ElShorbagy there. That is the perfect pyramid, isn't it? Last 3 years been totally dominated by ElShorbagy, and rightly so. But Shorbagy's match time, the average for his game so far is just over the 38-minute mark, and in comparison you've got Gawad, who's closer to the hour mark. So I think coming into tonight's final, the energy tank of Gawad is going to be heavily depleted, but he's got this uncanny kind of resilience and
he's got an
huge engine on him.
He's got a massive engine. His body shape is, if you look at his body shape, he's not as athletic as the other players, but when he's moving, I mean, the specifics in terms of squash, the way he moves around the court, the way he reads the game, he's unbelievably efficient. He's had a lot of 5-set matches over the last 6 years on the PSA World Tour, and he's won the majority of those matches.
Yep.
But Shorbagy hasn't really had a physical run out. We thought that the quarter-final with Ali Farag was going to be a monumental battle, but Shorbagy was so het up, he was so focused that he was going to do a job on Farag, and he absolutely obliterated him. Now, the other side of it, PJ, is that this World Championship, although it's a 64 draw, so it's the longest event in terms of rounds. There's an extra round in there compared to the usual 32 in a World Series event. Yep. They have had rest days.
Rest days in between, yes, obviously. And I think that's why we're seeing such quality squash at the late stages of these kind of events now, because in the previously that these players wouldn't have those recovery periods. They would get into the late stages very heavily fatigued, and the quality would deteriorate somewhat. But so far this week, it's been absolutely top draw.
So that is the very, very interesting stat. There's not that many people on the PSA World Tour that have that over Kareem Abdul-Gawad, particularly the way the Egyptian, the #6 seed, is playing at the moment. But that is all the way back to 2012. So when they did play at the British Open semi-final, that was back in March this year. ElShorbagy got rid of Abdul Gawad, but Abdul Gawad is playing a level above that now after the summer break. He's proved that. There's Marwan ElShorbagy, the younger brother of Mohammed. Not sure who the other character was. We have seen when these Egyptian players are playing in their own backyard, there can be as many as 5 or 6 of an entourage.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Talking, shouting at them, animated in an extraordinary manner, giving info between games, and it's something that's quite abnormal outside of Egypt. Primarily, you have 2 people chatting, maximum
At
2
most,
people.
I was going to say, that's,
usually just
that's
one.
a luxury.
Wadi Degla PSA Men's
temperature
World
here
Championship
is,
2016.
Quite mild compared to the
Semi-final
beginning.
match. Mohammed ElShorbagy of Egypt to serve. Karim Abdul Gawad of Egypt to receive. Best of 5 games.
So the
Level.
central referee, Tama Al-Nagari, take command of this all-Egyptian battle. This semi-final, it's the only semi-final of this PSA Men's World Championship, live from the Wadi Degla Club.
If that's any indication of what we're going to witness from ElShorbagy, it's going to be a very difficult night out there for Gawad. Questionable early on in some of his previous rounds. Gawad physically couldn't quite get the wheels in motion, but we've seen ElShorbagy absolutely flying out of the gate here. He'll be looking to make this pace fast and furious and uncomfortable for Gawad.
He's going to go. He knows that Gawad actually can have a bit of a reputation for being a slow starter, so he'll be wanting to sew up this first game, get it under his belt, try and keep a downer on the confidence of the baby-faced assassin, who is able, when he's firing, to score points very quickly.
Well, it's a real contrast in styles between these two, because you can see the more fluid movement and hitting of Gawad, trying to contain ElShorbagy, but at the moment he's absolutely tearing through
Pickup was good.
these first few points, really
love.
setting his stall out, sending a message to Gawad.
I just feel like we're on there with them.
That's fantastic
See
camera.
the game from this angle. Gives you a real perspective of the pace. You see the way ElShorbagy is bounding round the court, hunting that ball. He's a true predator. PJ, if you, I know it's quite probably be more of an analogy for the younger fans of squash, but if these guys were dinosaurs, then Mohammed ElShorbagy would certainly be the T-Rex.
T-Rex, absolutely.
He is the prime predator on the PSA World Tour, ElShorbagy.
Down, thank
Making
you.
that unforced error.
Handout 1-4.
But the specific movement and the way Gawad is able to economically cruise around the court, he's got a real talent with that. A lot of the players have to do a huge amount of work in the gym, get themselves very, very strong. ElShorbagy's a kind of more of a raw mover. You wouldn't say it's aesthetically pleasing on the eye. It's very effective when he's...
Yeah, it's not graceful, is it?
It's not graceful, but Abdul Gawad is very, very smooth.
One area in particular that has rewarded Gawad over the last few events has been this front left-hand corner. He's so skillful and deceptive in that region. I'm pretty sure that ElShorbagy will have his game plan fully in place tonight and not give any sort of time to Gawad in that particular part of the court.
No, I think he likes to go in. He likes to go in with a bit of pace in that front left-hand corner. Mohamed ElShorbagy, and that's wise. Still to attack that area, but make sure it goes a bit, you know, that low kill into the sidewall. If you set it up and you get it slightly wrong, if you're going in slower, whether it's a long drop shot or a volley drop, that's where Abdul Gawad is so dangerous. He flies in and he's got probably about 5 or 6 variations in his artillery. Very hard to read him as well. Well, he went in there, and what was good, he justified that short ball on the volley because he had Gawad further back, squeezed the loose length. Perfect squash from Shorbagy, and what a start, PJ.
Immaculate. The #1 seed really, since that first round in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago where he should have lost to Cesar Salazar of Mexico, for me he's taken his game to new heights. I've not seen him so focused and driven for a long time.
I won't repeat what was said, but I got it firsthand that his mentor, Jonah Barrington, was after that US Open, the way he managed to get through that, he got quite a scolding. Although he won that event, and
I've witnessed that firsthand myself. So.
2-love down against Nick Matthew, he got a huge scolding, and he kept saying, but I'm the US Open champion, and Jonah Barrington wasn't having any of it. And to be honest with you, it's shown in this that he's settled down, he's realised that he's got to get back to playing top quality squash.
Absolutely. Just going back here, Joey, we've actually used the replay to for the referees to witness a potential double bounce. It wasn't the pickup was clear from ElShorbagy, but they've used the video review, which is brilliant. I haven't seen that before.
Well, that is massive because it's a part of the game now that's so important. This is a ridiculous rally. The tempo.
Out.
That was beyond high octane from Shorbagy. Didn't look very smooth there, did he, Kareem Abdul Gawad? He was running around
7-1.
at a serious rate trying to stay in there, breathing heavily. 7-1.
Well, he's been guilty of some slow starts, Kareem Abdul Gawad, but I don't think it would have mattered what frame of mind he was in, because this has been complete and utter domination so far from Mohamed ElShorbagy.
Well, he's not here to entertain, PJ. He's here to do a job, and he's been runner-up twice in this World Championship. He's been dominating the PSA World Tour, and he wants to win this. He's also got the scenario, PJ, where Ramy Ashour's waiting for him. He's in the final, Ashour.
Well, that's
And out 2-8.
exactly what we saw in Philadelphia. Whenever he went through a slight spell, ElShorbagy kept pointing at his head, didn't he?
Yeah, he's the excitement of the way he plays. Sometimes it starts
Gawad.
the focus starts to disappear, and he goes a bit headless.
No let. Hand out 9-2.
So
It's a good decision there from Tama. Backhand volleys. Got to go through and try and play the ball there, Gawad. Front left corner again for Gawad. What Shorbagy did so well early on was pushed further up into the court as soon as he knew the ball was on that racket of Gawad.
So slightly poor width, and this is where Gawad can start to be dangerous.
4-9.
Very positive player, such a high skill level. If Gawad doesn't win this first game, PJ, at least he might get a bit of a rhythm and some type of confidence that he's starting to find his game, because up until this point he's been not given a look in.
Yeah, again, it's too much pressure from Gawad on that backhand side. Just staring down Gawad there.
5-9.
So deadly. I mean, he was completely outplayed for the first 2/3 of this first game. It's just an example of the danger that he possesses, Gawad.
Your ball's good. No, 5-9.
Having a discussion on the scoreline.
Yeah, it's definitely the right score. Another thing that I like about Gawad, he doesn't seem to panic under pressure.
No, I was just about to say his facial expression doesn't change. You might get the occasional fist pump, but I mean, look at the way this has turned around. Shorbagy has come right off the gas. His accuracy levels have gone. It's like he slightly over-aroused at the beginning, and he's having a bit of a mini come-down. And this is the danger from Gawad. Shorbagy's accuracy needs to be better. Just trying to bully the ball here. He's going to get picked off. He needed that point.
Certainly
he needed that point, PJ.
I just feel that if Shorbagy is going into that front left corner, Joe, he's got to go hard and fast. He can't float it in there and give Gawad any sort of time because he's just too dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It becomes a bit of a setup when you give him an option.
Yeah.
You've got to get him moving in quickly and keep it nicely tight into the sidewall. Limit his options if he is going to get it back. It's good strength around the middle from Shorbagy.
Oh dear, oh dear.
That is ridiculous. That is outrageous. I mean, I don't know what you thought he was going to play there, but...
and out, 7-10, game ball.
Got the old twitchy leg, and it's acknowledged by Shorbagy. He was just left on the tee. Still 3 game balls for the #1 seed.
الصوت يا جماعة لو سمحتوا خلي اللعيبة تركز.
Saying
just please everybody take their seats as the players try to continue with this first game.
Your Arabic's improving all the time.
9 days here will certainly do that, aid that.
Not up.
Tidying up on that front area. Didn't panic with the pickup from Shorbagy. Shorbagy's really looking back at his brother.
8-10, game ball.
He looks a bit shell-shocked by the response of the baby-faced assassin, who doesn't give away anything.
No, I think he's played into his hands a little bit, though, Joe. As you said, he's come off the pace a touch, started to go too short too early, and he's now given that front court area away to Gawad. And as we are well aware, he's too clinical there.
Oh, he played it. It's good to see. He knew that he wasn't going to hurt his opponent. Oh, that's a good line. That is a very good line and length. Shorbagy again just acknowledging to Gawad that he played the ball. He's a very classy character, Abdul Gawad.
9-10, game ball.
He's just going about his business.
Terrific.
He's closed down. He was way out of this first game. Needs a good service. Shorbagy's the one that's looking a bit flat.
Wonderful variations of hitting from both players here, using plenty of height on the front wall combined with seriously hard hit low kills.
Out.
Oh, he squeezed it. Shorbagy can't believe it. Feels the ball was in.
Well, I'm not sure it would have really mattered because it's out of court,
no,
you can see there, but the finish from Gawad after that was immaculate anyway. The ball died in the front right corner.
That was very out.
10-all. Player must win by 2 points.
It's bending over
Each
again,
player
ElShorbagy.
has one video review available.
Just
left box.
So the assassin has more than snuck up on ElShorbagy. We're into a tie break in this first game. One stage he was 7-1 down, Kareem Abdul-Gawad.
Well, I doubt ElShorbagy can believe what's happened here. He's looking a little bit ragged here, ElShorbagy.
Just losing his line and length. He's trying to hit it very, very hard, but he's not getting the ball through to the back of the court. He's not showing the accuracy that we saw at the beginning of this. And Gawad's woken up.
He's not being phased by the pace from ElShorbagy either. Oh my goodness gracious me.
He just can't stop hitting corners. It was the forehand work deep to set up that opportunity, and he's put it away beautifully. He just will not miss.
Game ball.
This is a run through. This is fantastic by Gawad. Game ball for the world number 3. He's a number 6 seed in this event.
He just gathers his thoughts there, Kareem Gawad. He's certainly got the momentum.
No, I don't see anything there. No.
Well, ElShorbagy's sensing this momentum shift. He wants the court cleaned and
he's
break
trying
up
to
the
stop,
rhythm, isn't he?
Absolutely, he's trying to stop this. And it's Abdul-Gawad that wants to serve. He's being relaxed, he's being fine. He wants to get on with this. He's got game ball.
Game ball.
There's some droplets there, but he's trying a few of the tricks, ElShorbagy, but Tamer Al-Nagari not having any of it. So game ball for Gawad. So much more accurate. Abdul-Gawad. ElShorbagy is all over the place.
It's heavy.
Oh, it's making ElShorbagy do quite a lot of work here as well.
Tremendous amount of work. It's not looking settled at all, ElShorbagy.
Not up.
What a response, though, from ElShorbagy.
That was just competitive.
Court service, please.
That was just pure competitive instinct from ElShorbagy. It wasn't pretty. He's got a massive presence around the middle of the court, shutting out Abdul-Gawad. And when you're not getting that accuracy level, you've got to kind of, I mean, you've got to win ugly,
You have to find a way of, getting the job done, Joey. Absolutely.
And that's, in that rally, again, he's bending over. I'm not sure if he's
Thank you.
started so quickly that he's kind of given himself a little bit of
Handout,
bit of a
11
blowout.
all.
Usually when you do go like that, you get a second win that starts to come, but he doesn't seem to be finding that quite yet.
Well, you have to emphasise the importance of taking this opening game, the semi-finals of the World Championships. It will really settle you down if you do take an early lead. In the last 4 meetings, Gawad has managed to take just one game against ElShorbagy.
Down.
He's made the error. It's a gift for Gawad. Better squash from ElShorbagy, though. He got himself in front of Gawad and was
12-11
pushing
game ball.
the babyface assassin deeper into the back of the court. Not quite as effective in that area, but he made the error.
So second game ball for Gawad.
Decision, Gawad.
It's not good enough. ElShorbagy knows it.
Yes, let 12-11 game ball.
going to be a
Decision,
stroke.
shot.
It's going to be a stroke.
Video decision, Gawad.
Well, this to me is a stroke. We're going to the video official.
Well, normally it's an effective shot when it comes down the middle, but he's read it. He's read it very well, and Shabagi's in the swing there of Gawad.
Yeah, he's come right back on himself. He's nicely managed to come inside on this one. That's going to be a stroke all day long. So it is a stroke. The crowd go mental. Oh, the whistling.
To Gawad. Gawad leads 1 game to love.
19-minute brutal game, and it's Kareem Abdul-Gawad that leads 1 game to love. What a turnaround from the baby-faced assassin. Just one unforced error. It was Shorbagy that steamrolled him in that first part. It looked like he was going to blitz him. He's not renowned for being a particularly quick starter, Gawad, but he did now get his house in order, started to pull back point by point, and we have a real interesting encounter on our hands now. There's some doubts in the mind of ElShorbagy. I mean, all 4 corners utilised. It wasn't just the length and the width. That front left-hand corner, which is such a great strength zone for Gawad. The forehand was just as good as well. So, I mean, he's finding his best squash when it counts, the baby-faced assassin. He's not looked particularly great in this event, but he's looking pretty great now.
Well, what a start to this men's semi-final tonight. Mohammed ElShorbagy came absolutely blasting out of the traps, racing off to a 7-1 lead. Gawad sometimes guilty of sluggish starts, and this was no different. Really struggling to find any kind of length on the court, but then after that 7-1 scoreline, you just saw the babyface assassin starting to find his rhythm. Got himself in front of ElShorbagy, started to pick off the #1 seed in the front 2 corners. The front left has been another strength zone for Gawad. There's the stroke decision and a 1 game to love lead for Gawad.
There's Omar Abdelaziz, a former PSA World Tour player, does work with Abdul-Gawad. Abdul-Gawad also gets help from Mohammed Abbas, who's former PSA World Tour player, got to 12 in the world, so he's got a very good coaching team in his corner. Must be quite easy to coach as well.
1 game to love.
There's Mohammed Abbas. These two are very different characters, these 2 coaches. Omar Abdelaziz is really animated. Abbas, a very relaxed, chilled out character. They were also very different players.
Well, it's nice to get the contrast, I'm sure. I mean, as you said, somebody like Gawad must be an absolute breeze to coach. Yes. So natural.
Very, very natural.
ممكن نقعد لو سمحتوا.
No flash photography.
الجنب اليمين.
It's my turn to translate to
Brilliant,
the
absolutely brilliant. No, you
international audience. No flash photography. PJ and myself have been learning Arabic throughout this week. I reckon within about 2 or 3 weeks, if we stayed here, I'd be fluent.
اقعدوا يا جماعة لو سمحتوا.
absolutely. Still some movement in the crowd.
Yeah, just said then, just to take your seats as well.
Level.
Well, we need a response here from Mohammed ElShorbagy.
A controlled response. He tries to bully Abdul-Gawad and it's loose. He'll get picked off. He'll just go down the pan. Shorbagy needs to play intelligently. He needs to get the balance between the physical side that he loves, which is his natural game, but also the accurate thinking side. He's got to think out there.
He has, but that's not being helped by the fact with the first game, Gawad hit 8 outright winners and only 1 unforced error. So when you're playing against somebody like this with those kind of stats, it's... I mean, how difficult is that to play against?
Well, it is very difficult, but he's got to have confidence in what he's doing. He needs to get into Gawad physically, he needs to make it hard, but with good attention to detail. At the moment, he's still trying to bully the ball around the court. It's falling mid-court, and Gawad's just going to pick him off all day long.
Yep. It's a real case of getting back to basics, and this is the effect. When he does get the opportunities to go short, he's now feeling a little bit edgy. This is quite a remarkable turnaround. Sorry, Joe.
He's shell-shocked. he's shell-shocked because it was all going his way in the first game. He was playing so well. There wasn't that response, but we've seen Gawad do this on the PSA World Tour. We've seen him do it at a slightly different level to this now, but more recently in these events, he beat Gregory Gaultier in the US Open. He won Alaram. He's starting now to do the same thing to the higher-ranked players.
Well, also, with the rallies being so short and sharp, we spoke about the fact that his early rounds were averaging the hour mark. He's physically not getting tested here.
For me, Shorbagy's got to extend rallies. He's got to have confidence in his physicality and look to try and squeeze Abdul Gawad.
Decision, Gawad. Yes, let, for love.
Well, I don't think ElShorbagy can quite believe what's happening to him out there at the moment. He's being completely outplayed by
He's going to have to start
Gawad.
believing it because he'll find himself 2 games to love down quite quickly. And he's helping the cause by making silly unforced errors.
5 love.
He's got to grind this out, PJ, and he's got to do it. He's got to go back to basics, not look for kind of cheap points. He's going to have to do it the really hard way.
Do you think maybe he was a little bit too fired up at the beginning, too pumped up?
I thought he was too aroused, and that can happen. I mean, when you come up for a huge match, I can only imagine what it's like in a semi-final of a World Championship in your own backyard. But also with what's been going on the other side of the draw, with Gaultier pulling out, Ramy Ashour coming into the final, so he's fresh, he's waiting for one of these guys. Shorbagy's aware of that. He's got to deal with Abdul Gawad, who's playing the best squash of his career so far, who hasn't looked particularly good in this event yet, up until now. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Not up. Two, 5. Decision, Shorbagy. Yes, let. 2, 5.
So Shorbagy trying to get his teeth into this second game in the early stage. 2-5.
It was amazing, really, from the end of that second game, Joey. It was 10 points in a row for Gawad. 5 love up in this second after a string of 5 at the late stage of the first. So
this is better from ElShorbagy. He's keeping the tempo nice and high, but he's finding a bit more accuracy and range in his hitting. You see the length hitting. This is a good rally from Shorbagy. Just appealing that. I thought there was a slight carry, but didn't matter anyway.
He's got to make it physical for me. ElShorbagy's got to keep the tempo so high that he doesn't allow Gawad to just settle that fraction.
He has, but he's also got to keep it accurate because Gawad will just cruise around the middle of the court, picking him off when he's got a loose opportunity.
3, 5.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be physically and mentally very hard for Shorbagy now that Gawad has got the first game under his belt. Nice patient rally here from Shorbagy. And he's got the unforced error. This is the other side of the coin. The squeezing that can start to happen. Shorbagy's managing to bring this back. You've got somebody that's very keen to play the ball into the front of the court. First game, 10 straight points in a row, you said. And then when it's not quite going, the unforced errors come.
Yep.
The reward.
But for me, I just feel that the slight drop in pace of hitting of the ball from ElShorbagy. Yes, he's still moving onto it very quickly, but he's taking the pace off, so Gawad's actually got to generate the speed onto the ball, and there we're starting to see a couple of errors creep in now.
5-all.
Such a fine margin between playing quickly and just hitting the ball hard. What we're seeing now that ElShorbagy is playing fast, but he's not always smacking the ball around as hard as he can, and that for me is causing a little bit of an issue for Gawad. Well, he needed that, Gawad. You can see there he's trying to motivate himself again
6-5.
after that little lull.
It's not the huge outward aggression, though. There's just a couple of words to himself. It's not that type of character.
Decision, Gawad. Yes, let. 6-5.
It's a safety let there, really. He didn't want to swing and possibly clip ElShorbagy. Just an idea of the accuracy that we're seeing from Gawad. You can hear the clunking of the racket from ElShorbagy in the back corners. Gawad doing a terrific job of just finding that area on a consistent basis, making life very difficult for the #1 seed.
Well, he's gone into Gawad.
Decision, ElShorbagy. Video decision, ElShorbagy.
Video decision.
It's an interesting one because you feel as though ElShorbagy's looking for a stroke here, Gawad's looking for a possible no-let.
Well, it's a huge decision, isn't it? It's a lot of pressure on this one because you've got two guys wanting completely different scenarios. Gawad's played, I mean, he has stood over his shot, which is not ideal for Gawad, but it's just the quality of the shot. Is it a winning shot, PJ?
I'm not sure this is a winning shot against ElShorbagy.
So,
What do we know?
Yes, let. 6-5.
for me, that was either going to be a no-let or a stroke. But the let's been given.
I think we should just leave the refereeing decisions to the rest, don't you think?
I'm not sure about that.
Not up.
It's nice. Very definite touch
And
by
out.
ElShorbagy.
6-all.
ElShorbagy's certainly the best player when you made the point as well. He gets the tempo high, but there's a little bit more control in his hitting.
Yes.
He was something he's been working on a lot. And when you're playing somebody that's got
Decision,
such a
Gawad.
high skill level and
Stroke
got such a
Gawad.
confidence like Gawad, you can't bully them. You can't physically bully
And
them.
out,
ElShorbagy can
7-6.
get away with that against the lower ranked players. Like, the pace is so high, the ball might not be that tight, but he gets away with it. But now that you've got these other players that are coming through and believing they can win these major events, he has to improve his own game.
Are you appealing? Decision, Gawad. No let. No let. No let. Hand out, 7-all. Court service, please.
Well, you can just see there that the T-shirt of Gawad is drenched in sweat. Physically, both players working very, very hard out there. The conditions are causing this heavy sweating on the courts. Another court service. This will give the players a chance to just settle down a little bit.
Hand out, 7-all.
But talk about a crucial stage of the match here. Gawad's got the 1-love lead, 7-all. What he would give to take this second. It's a massive difference, Joey, between 2-love and 1-game-all, obviously, psychologically.
Oh, different realms, PJ.
Especially on this stage, semis of the World Championships.
It's good strength.
Decision,
around the middle. He's not
Gawad.
going to get through there. Shorbagy
No let.
using his wingspan across the tee line.
8-7.
This is unbelievable court coverage from Shorbagy. He's done well, isn't he, to stay in this rally, Shorbagy.
It's heavy on the drop. Has lost a touch of accuracy going short, Gawad.
Oh, he's mistimed that. Shorbagy has mistimed that ball. Such a straight zone for the #1 seed. And that backhand. A lifeline. Oh, he hit that into the floor. So edgy times for Mohammed ElShorbagy. Trailing by 1 game to love, 8-all in this second. This might work in Shorbagy's favour. The fact that he's taken this heavily,
No let.
I think that's the right decision. Shorbagy, I'm not sure if he meant to make this backhand volley drop as heavy as it was.
9-8.
I'm surprised he didn't appeal there, Gawad. Was very heavy. Just looking at the face of Gawad, he's feeling it physically. It's quite apparent. Been very impressed with the fact that ElShorbagy hasn't panicked.
Decision, Gawad. Video decision, Gawad.
So a video decision. Another heavy backhand volley drop from Shorbagy. Obviously a tactic he's using because he knows that Gawad, this is where it could be clever from Shorbagy. He knows that Gawad, when he sees an opponent wanting to take the ball into the front left-hand corner, he's up on his shoulder quickly. So therefore he's snapping it slightly deeper. Wonder what this decision's going to be.
Well, I think this should be a let ball, really. He wants to get
So
through.
no let.
He wants to take that earlier. I disagree with that one personally.
Big decision.
No let.
So the no let
10-8. Game ball.
gives Mohammed ElShorbagy 2 game balls.
No, you need to go to the ball, Mr. Gawad. You need to go to the ball. 10-8. Game ball.
I'm going to have to disagree with the explanation there from
Now play on, Mr.
Tama,
Shorbagy. I've
because
given my
he's telling
explanation.
Gawad to go and play the ball. He wanted to go and play the ball. He's not
10-8,
blocking
game
ElShorbagy, but he
ball.
was in the line of Gawad to get through and play it. I think what the referees, the line of thinking there is the consistency. They're trying to get Gawad to go through that kind of interference and keep the rally going.
Decision, Shorbagy.
Well, he won't be happy with that, Shorbagy's a little bit of a taste of his own medicine.
Video review, Shorbagy on the no let decision.
Yeah, it was a taste of the own medicine.
Well, this should never be a let ball because he's gone through it and played it.
No. He's got to play that, hasn't he?
Yeah. The original decision.
Particularly if you're going slightly down the route of what happened to Gawad the rally before with the no let.
Yeah.
I mean, Shorbagy's actually got this ball back. He was out of position, Shorbagy. It was Gawad's shot, so therefore Shorbagy has to go through and get it, and he half went through.
Hand out 9-10 game ball.
If there was more interference, then possibly it would have been a let, but that's the correct decision for me. So still some life left in this second game. Game ball for Shorbagy.
It's very exciting times out there. Gawad just 1 point away from taking this into a tie break.
Oh, he's missed it! PJ's missed it! There's a hole in his racket. Mohammed ElShorbagy has missed this. This wasn't
Each player has one
a
video
winner.
review available.
Mistimed that ball. It wasn't the best of backhand volley drops. It was awkward.
That's a whiff if ever I've seen one, Joey.
That is a
Massive whiff.
Huge PJ whiff. 10-all tie break. Shorbagy on the edge.
Oh, he's made the
That
error.
is a gift. What a gift. Shorbagy has to utilise this first time.
Game ball.
That was bread and butter for Abdul Gawad.
Well, that will be welcomed with open arms by Shorbagy there. So many momentum shifts back and forth between these two.
He shut him out. Shorbagy smacking his chest.
And game to Shorbagy. One game
Such
all.
a crucial second game in this semi-final. 40 minutes so far. Shorbagy holding on, taking the second 12-10. It's now 1 game all. So nerve-wracking times for Mohamed ElShorbagy, but that was so important for his bid in this World Championship. Kareem Abdul Gawad is still very, very dangerous, but the physicality is now coming in. We've had 2 games that have been 18 and 19 minutes, 40 minutes of very, very high-tempo squash. And Shorbagy has managed to get his foot in the door after losing that first game. For me, the accuracy of Shorbagy is paramount. He needs to play at a decent tempo, but he's got to shut down the lines for Abdul Gawad. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount that... Marwan's starting to talk now.
He's looking nice and relaxed though, isn't he, given the situation?
Shorbagy, look, there is a more of a relaxed persona about his face. Certainly what we saw in the first game.
Well, what a brilliant second game we had here. Kareem Abdul Gawad got off to the perfect start. After taking the last 5 points of the first game, he won the first 5 of this second, cruised off to a 5-love lead and looked very worrying for Mohamed ElShorbagy. But you certainly don't achieve what Shorbagy's achieved in the game so far unless you possess that fighting spirit and that determination. And it's in full flow here tonight. Crucial second game for the #1 seed. Levelled up, 1 game apiece.
Very active coaching corner for both players now. Well, Abdul Gawad raced on court. He had to put his own T-shirt on the court.
One game all.
Referee called
Shorbagy
time,
to serve.
sorting that sweatband out. I mean, Shorbagy had all those years, PJ, of battling through the rankings, and he got to play in the golden age where you had all those great players that were former world number ones and world champions inside the top 10. He did an unbelievably hard apprenticeship. But now he's got the different scenario of these guys that are up and coming, and they're starting to chase him, and he's having to get used to playing these different styles of these other players. You know, he's had so many years of playing James Willstrop, Nick Matthew, Gaultier.
Yep. This is better.
Well, the ball, as we always know, with these white balls on the glass court, starts to soften up, which means the court becomes a bigger space. It stays in the front a lot further up, and also if you get a good length, it stays a lot lower in the back.
He's just checking his left ankle there, Mohamed ElShorbagy. And because of that soft ball that you're talking about, Joey, it's becoming a little bit of a lottery and a race to the front of the court here.
Well, it changes the dynamic, and Shorbagy is so streetwise and quick. He knows what happens with this. He's also one of these players that will utilise the new ball rule if he needs to, if it means changing the momentum of a match. But, I mean, everything is around the service line. He's just got a... There's going to be a stroke, but he's closing down the court.
Hand out 1-3.
Saying that he touched him with a racket. You know, Shorbagy, when he's doing that, when he's closing down the front of the court in that way, it reminds me of a goalkeeper. You know, when they're responding to a penalty and they're making themselves
big,
really big across.
Yeah.
He'd be a good goalkeeper, Shorbagy.
Stop. Decision, ElShorbagy. Yes, let 1-3.
Telling his persona, he's a little bit more relaxed, Mohammed ElShorbagy. Now he got that second game under his belt.
Head up.
Rally. The points are coming on the board thick and fast here.
2-3.
Very short and sharp.
I think we're going to get this back and forth.
Yeah, I think so.
In this third game, whoever manages to strike first with quality in the front is going to get the success. Terrific line hitting from Gawad again.
This is terrific stuff from Gawad. He's turned it around brilliantly again. He was looking out of sorts at the late stage of the second.
3-all.
Absolutely nothing in it.
Very, very tight. 1-all, 3-all.
Oh, he's completely wrong-footed, ElShorbagy. The tongue came out of the number one seed. He knew he was wrong-footed.
Well, he didn't move. The ball was off to the front of the court on the post, just catching the top of the tin.
4-3.
Good retrieving from ElShorbagy. He's under the cosh here. This could be a stroke.
Gawad.
It's a loose ball.
It's heavy on the drop.
Yes, let 4-3.
Oh, he's not been punished.
Not much discussion from Gawad either. So just happy probably to get a let, but I mean, he was there. It was a bit of a dodgy shot from ElShorbagy. Does do some heavy movement, ElShorbagy. I mean,
but the top of the swing was held so long here from Gawad. 5 or 6 different options for the babyface assassin. ElShorbagy couldn't move until he hit it, but the quality was so good from Gawad. Well, again, you're just seeing these. Well, there's the parents of Mohammed ElShorbagy looking very anxious in the crowd. But you're seeing these, the toing and throwing of these spells of winners and errors from players. And it's Gawad that's on the ascendancy here. Oh my goodness gracious me! Acknowledged by ElShorbagy. I mean, we went completely the wrong way.
It just doesn't seem to get nervous, Kareem Abdul-Gawad. Look at what he's done here.
6-4.
It's a semi-final of a World Championship, and he's just kind of pootling along like
I think you should go and maybe tell him.
Amazing attitude. He's quite a unique character, Gawad. He's just hitting winners at the front and the back for fun, and the danger of Gawad is he gets on these runs and it just becomes prolific. ElShorbagy needs to stop it, and he has done. Slightly poor service, ElShorbagy crunches that into the cross-court nick.
Well, he'll be disappointed with himself there, Gawad, after that 7-4 lead.
Tempo's gone up.
Well, that's a wild
Decision,
shot
Wild.
there from ElShorbagy.
Video
Very wild.
decision, Gawad.
Video decision.
This was very wild. Just a desperation forehand volley here from
He
ElShorbagy.
was trying to inject the pace and losing control. Oh, this is a big decision, PJ.
Huge. Oof, it's a very bad shot, isn't
What
it?
would you give there?
Probably a let ball.
Really?
Yeah, I think it
Why?
should be a stroke because I'd probably cowered out because
At
of
least
the
you're honest.
situation.
Yes, let 5-7.
So you're saying that
Room to play. You have
video
room to
official
play.
is being
No,
slightly
the ball's good.
Cowardly.
cowardly?
I do,
5-7.
I think that was a stroke personally, but because
But
of
you
the
wouldn't have given
situation.
it though, would you? Because you said you'd give a let because you were also being a coward. However, the explanation from the referee was that was room to play.
Good pressure here from ElShorbagy.
Ball's got a bit more life in it since the rallies have started to extend. It's become bouncy again. Huh. It's good battling from Shorbagy, hustling away, doing what's needed to keep this ball going.
Massive rally here for ElShorbagy. He's got it.
Oh, that's just raw strength. Shorbagy bends over. That was raw strength and mental fortitude from ElShorbagy. He was up against it in that rally.
6-7. Play on, please, gentlemen. No, pickup was good.
There's nothing wrong with his pickup. He opened up the racket face there, just
6-7.
chipped it onto the front wall. So Shorbagy digging deep, 6-7.
Down.
He's made the error.
Hand out, 8-6.
He's done that a couple of times on that favoured backhand side, Shorbagy. Loves that shot.
You can see again, Joey, that both players bending over double, feeling this stage of the match. 1-all, 8-6 to Gawad. Comes down to who really wants it the most now. Rest assured, Ramy Ashour will be sitting at home, licking his lips.
Decision, Gawad. Yes, let 8-6.
I think Ramy Ashour is on the massage bed watching this, getting his body sorted for tomorrow, having a whale of a time.
I bet.
Play on, gentlemen.
Just looking at the floor, Shorbagy saying about the
Court
sweat on the
service,
floor.
please.
Court service.
Court service.
Just explaining to the referee
What
there
is-
that there's
Mohammed,
droplets
what
of
is
sweat on the court, making it potentially dangerous because of the speeds that these players are reaching full stretch.
Thank you.
If they do plant their leading foot onto that kind of surface,
Yes,
it
let 8-6.
could cause all sorts of injuries. We've seen some horrific situations over the years.
Down.
Oh, he's made the error.
Oh, he was slightly overstretched.
Hand out 7-8.
It's the right shot to play from Gawad.
A bit quicker on the serve, gentlemen.
Business end of the third, PJ. I think it's a little bit harsh from the referee wanting these guys to play a bit quicker.
I do.
They can't play any quicker.
They need a few seconds to gather their thoughts. I mean, let's not forget,
ElShorbagy.
it's the semi-finals of the
Yes,
World
lad.
Championships here.
7-8.
It's funny. He's unrelenting, Tamer El Nagari.
Yeah. That's severe hitting from Gawad.
Good width as well.
Oh, he's made the error. That was an edgy backhand drop from
Well,
Gawad.
I think he had so many options in his head. He wanted to get on this quickly, and he slightly overran it. You see here, charges up. Oh, he wanted to try and fake that he was going to hit it hard and then drop the racket, which he does very well, but just a bit close to himself.
Well, at crucial times, Gawad has made some horrendous errors, really. The serve at 8-4, and now 2 backhand drops into that front left corner have clipped the tin. So that's 3 points gifted to ElShorbagy. Back to level peggings here, 1-all, 8-all.
Width. I know these guys are feeling this physically, but it hasn't stopped the tempo. This ball has got very, very bouncy again.
Well, both players giving it a seriously wallop. Oh, he's done it.
Yeah, that was a good squeeze. It was tight on the side ball. So ElShorbagy showing that little bit more mental strength
9-8. Right.
when it counts. All that experience from ElShorbagy. They are the same age pretty much, but Mohamed ElShorbagy has been playing at this level for a long time now.
And on this stage. Oh, he's unlucky. Sure, we'll see a cleaning of the court here.
Sorry. What did you say there?
I'm sure we'll see a cleaning of the court here.
He just lost his footing. He was off for the cross court, and then he lost his footing, ElShorbagy. Split step going in the wrong direction, tried to recover, sprawled. So both these guys will be happy with the court maintenance. Even 15 or 20 seconds of a breakage of play with court maintenance, it helps the guys at this level recover. They recover properly. I mean, Mrs. ElShorbagy really can't keep still.
Right box, 9-all. Thank you.
It's actually, I don't think it is right box. I think it's hand out 9-all. So he has a choice, Gawad.
Sorry, hand out, 9-all.
Well, there'll certainly be a change of T-shirt for ElShorbagy after this third game. And a change of headband. Locked in at 9-all in this third.
This is outrageous.
But that is ElShorbagy down to a tee. He was under it. He was under under pressure down that backhand side. He smacks his chest again. Does it time and time again, PJ. Look at this length. He was hanging on down that backhand side, being put under so much pressure by the assassin. Gets one opportunity and he squeezes him. Game ball for the world number one. Well, there'll be a roar from the Beast of Alexandria if he wins this third game. Oh, he's gone for it. And he's hit middle of the tin.
Handout, 10-all. Each player has
Well, this
one
is just
video
pure
view
anxiety
available.
from ElShorbagy. The front of the court
Had him
just
shut out. He couldn't get
wide
past
open.
him. Couldn't get past him. Oh, we dare not go on Mrs. Shorbagy. She'll be all over the place. The nerves. She can't watch.
Oh, that's brilliant. Patiently waiting there. He stuck one extra ball down into the back corner for ElShorbagy. Slightly looser on the second return, and there the finish from Gawad. Inch perfect.
First game ball for Gawad. He's gone for the cross-court nick, didn't get it.
Decision, Gawad. No let. Video review, Gawad.
He's going
on
for
the
a video
no-let
review,
decision.
but Shorbagy read this angle and tidied it nicely into the sidewalk. We'll talk about lines. Gawad's up on his shoulder. That should he have gone between Shorbagy and the sidewall, or was Shorbagy in his line of movement there? Was the shot good enough? PJ, all these questions I want you to
I'm
ask.
confused. Which one would
to
you like me
answer.
to answer first, Joey? I think that's the right decision, though.
Well, the crowd
No
roaring
let,
away.
decision upheld. Gawad has no reviews remaining. Handout, 11-all.
Even the central referee's getting caught up in all the excitement out there.
Oh,
Decision, Shorbagy.
it's going to be a stroke for Shorbagy.
Stroke to Shorbagy.
They do love a stroke over here.
12-11, game ball.
Second game ball opportunity for ElShorbagy.
Once again, the battle commences down the backhand side wall. It's Gawad that seems to have the better of ElShorbagy, but he's defending so well under pressure down that side of the court.
This is raw strength again from Shorbagy. Staying in this rally, being worked corner to corner.
Oh, this is outrageous. Well, you can hear the groans of ElShorbagy. He just will not go away.
Decision, Shorbagy.
He's got to play the
Video
ball there.
decision, Shorbagy.
It's a video decision.
I think he's got to play that.
That was monumental from Mohammed ElShorbagy. So a video decision on this game ball. Shorbagy stops, he wants a stroke. It's right up on there. Shaping for his shot in the body of Abdul Gawad. Abdul Gawad's played this in. It's not a great shot from the baby-faced assassin. He slightly stands over it. This could be trouble for him. And it is a stroke. So Mohammed ElShorbagy, a monumental effort
Stroke to Shorbagy.
from
13-11, game to Shorbagy.
world number one.
Shorbagy leads
64-minute
2-1.
battle between these Egyptians. A third tie-break. Shorbagy leads 2-1. Well, the unforced errors coming from Abdul Gawad, but I mean, it's a third tie break in a row. The first game 18 minutes, second 19, now 21. The tempo has not slowed at all. Both players are feeling it. Shorbagy's having to do more work than Abdul Gawad, purely because the baby-faced assassin is controlling the corners very well. But Shorbagy thrives in these environments. He loves to play off adrenaline. He's got an unbelievable mental strength, a wealth of experience on this stage. And he has managed to squeeze out that all-important third game. But these guys are extracting terrific squash from each other. This is a wonderful match in this semi-final.
Well, this is probably the best game of the match so far. The toing and throwing and momentum shifts that we're witnessing, nothing short of brilliance from both players at times. You can't help but feel that Karim Abdel Gawad was starting to feel it a little bit towards the late stage. A lack of experience, you could say, given the occasion. A number of unforced errors from the assassin just allowed ElShorbagy to get that ever so slight edge. Raw determination from the #1 seed, proving exactly why he's at the top of the tree in the world ranks. Gutsy and feisty squash from ElShorbagy, and an all-important third game. 2-1 lead for ElShorbagy.
So the fresh change of shirt, sweatbands, headband, all of it ready for this fourth game. Very, very animated corners in both areas. We're all caught up in the atmosphere here. It's rip-roaring. It's the liveliest it's been the whole week for this semi-final tonight.
اقعدوا يا جماعة لو سمحتوا. كل يقعد في مكانه لو سمحتوا.
So again, Tamer Al-Nagari just telling the crowd to take their seats.
Shorbagy leads 2 games to 1. Shorbagy to serve.
And fasten your seatbelts.
Yes.
Love all.
So ElShorbagy with the upper hand as he serves in this fourth game, 2-1.
Decision Gawad. Yes, let. Love all.
A slightly more relaxed start from Gawad. Obviously, it's almost impossible to not get caught up in all the emotions at the late stage of such an important game there, but he needs a reset, Gawad.
And he needs to get an upper hand early on, which he's getting. That's an unforced error from Shorbagy.
2-love.
That front left-hand corner, Shorbagy's better off if he's slightly under pressure, slightly late, getting it out of there, using the lob. Well, that was encouraging, sending Gawad the wrong way. You haven't seen the baby-faced assassin be sent the wrong way that many times.
Just watching this match here, Joey, actually takes me back to the El Gouna final between Ramy Ashour and ElShorbagy, where they went to 5, and it was this constant just toing of the rate that these guys were playing and how quickly these points were clocking up on the scoreboard. It was a real rat-a-tat affair, wasn't it? It was very, very similar to what we're seeing here tonight.
Well, he's been in this, that's what I was saying earlier with Shorbagy, that experience, PJ, and playing in these major events, the World Championships, but World Series events, major finals, semi-finals, with this going on. He hasn't had this before with Abdul Gawad. You know, Abdul Gawad in the last 5 meetings has only taken 1 game off of Shorbagy. Last 4 meetings.
Good strength around the middle.
Hand out 2-4.
wonder if they managed to
And
find the
out,
ball here.
5-2.
Good luck with that one. One thing we can certainly be sure of, it will be very hot, that ball. Very, very hot.
Need oven gloves to handle that one.
Down.
Well, he set the point up beautifully, pushed Gawad deep into the back
6-2.
left-hand corner. Just a little bit static in his knees and his hips there. Edgy backhand volley drop from ElShorbagy, and a 6-2 lead opening up for Gawad.
ElShorbagy needs to get himself going. Just saw his kind of in his demeanour in his face, a little bit more kind of tiredness and shutdown. He's an adrenaline player. He needs something to happen, and that is going to be a stroke. So Gawad,
Stroke to Gawad.
who, in comparison,
7-2.
just in demeanour looks as fresh as a daisy. He certainly isn't, but it just very frustrating when you're returning serve. You're looking at your opponent, and he does look like he hasn't really been sweating.
And up.
Unbelievable. He's just going about his business, Gawad.
8-2.
I didn't expect this fourth game to go like this, PJ.
It
Not
was
as
off the
quickly.
back of the start from Gawad. For me, he did look a little bit more relaxed going out. Yes, granted, he got some early points on the board, but he's made the error.
Well, that's a shocker. He's completely conceded this
9-2.
fourth
He
game,
has,
ElShorbagy.
exactly. He's
conceded
resigning
it.
to the fact that he's going
He's
to
in a
lose this
tangle.
fourth.
He's in a tangle.
Right box.
He'll be saving himself for the fifth. My goodness, the drama will continue.
And the rest.
Down.
So he is conceding this. 8
10-2
game balls,
game
which will
ball.
be taken very quickly now.
Well, just look at the difference in body language from Gawad as well. There's all of a sudden a spring in the step.
Down.
So ElShorbagy has conceded
11-2
that
game
fourth
to Gawad,
game.
2 games all.
And Abdul Gawad has turned this around within minutes. Look at that for a comparison. Just 5 minutes. It's now 2 games all. Well, PJ, the drama continues. I mean, a 5-minute fourth game, the intensity we were talking about within this match, 18, 19 minute, a 21 minute third game, and then suddenly it's dropped off hugely, ElShorbagy.
Yep.
Physically, he can regroup. He's got a huge amount of base strength from all the hard matches, all the training. But mentally, he's got to be sharp because Gawad is such an unusual character. He keeps so relaxed. He has had a lot of five-setters himself, but I mean, he hasn't had the experience ElShorbagy's had. But it doesn't seem to deter him at all. He's coming into this fifth game the more confident, that's for sure.
Without a shadow of a doubt, we see there 7 unforced errors in that fourth game from ElShorbagy, and it was purely down to the start from Gawad. He's looking very slick, he's looking very confident. Exciting fifth game coming up.
And we've got to go back to the ball condition. It started off very dead at the third. The rallies got longer, it got warmer, and it started to kind of fly around a bit more. But the life out of that squash will be less and less as we go into a fifth. Mrs. ElShorbagy, as she does when she feels her son's up against it. She's Mohammed's on the phone. I imagine he's talking to Jonah Barrington, who will be certainly sorting his head out, but he's got to do it in 2 minutes. He'll be speaking to him from England. Well, it's panic stations, but he's going to have to get a very, very good lead because Abdul Gawad is a nightmare when he gets on a run. He just gets going those points quickly.
15
Well,
seconds.
we've seen the ability, the ability that he has to put the ball away, but when he's not making unforced errors, that makes life so difficult for ElShorbagy. ElShorbagy at the moment, he's scurrying around, he's trying his best to hang into the rallies, but the finished product that we're seeing from the assassin has just been absolutely devastating. So ElShorbagy's got to come out fast. He's got to get his length back. He's lost his line and his length and his width a little bit, and he's being picked off at the moment.
He is. And what a contrast in the corners as well, with Kareem Abdul Gawad just sitting there, getting a little bit of advice, doing a few little twists. He looks very relaxed. ElShorbagy was on the phone, getting advice from Jonah Barrington probably. His mum was there, his other coach, you know, his brother was there. It's a very different setup. But he's got to settle down because a fifth game could go very quickly if he doesn't get it right.
It's all about the starts. 2 games all. A place in the final of the World Championships at stake.
Decision, Gawad. No let. Hand out, 1 love. You had a line to the ball.
Well, it's first blood to Shorbagy. You can't help but think psychologically that has to be a slight advantage.
It is. Just, I mean, even a point, getting that first game, it does help.
Decision, Gawad.
He's calmed himself down here, Shorbagy.
Yes, let. 1 love.
Whatever was said to him on the phone, he's got to focus and he's calmed himself down. He's got to concentrate and use strategy, PJ, not just brute force. Not now that he's had a lot of energy taken away from him.
Hand out, 1-all.
Oh dear, that is absolute perfection from Gawad. He has this ability at times to play perfect squash.
2-1.
There's times as an opponent, surely you just have to hold your hands up and just say, I'm being completely outplayed there.
Down.
Well, that is not what the doctor ordered from Mohamed ElShorbagy.
3-1.
Walloping that ball in the tin, and Gawad is getting on one of those runs.
Well, obviously this match, Joey, is far from over. There's still so many questions that Gawad's going to have to answer. These stages of the game and that kind of unfamiliar territory, shall we say. Can he see his way through the finishing line? Because rest assured, Shorbagy's not going to make it easy for him.
He's going to get a stroke, though. This is going to be a stroke.
Gawad.
It moves Gawad to 4-1. Shorbagy tried to hustle in that rally a bit more, but still the outcome is in favour of Gawad.
Just when Gawad probably felt that some of the decisions hadn't gone his way, all of a sudden, it's aided him a 4-1 lead in this 5th. Coming into tonight's semi-final, Joey, we were commenting on the fact that Gawad hadn't played his best squash so far, but talk about rise to the occasion.
Gawad. No let.
Well, there's a no let. He's going for a review.
Video review, Gawad, on the no let decision.
That's a let ball. I mean, it's a fairly soft shot from ElShorbagy. Plays the ball. He wants to get forward there. He can't because of the line that Shorbagy has taken. Well, not that he's taken, but he's not kind of allowed Gawad to go through there. It's not a great shot. He's looking to get forward, Gawad. He can't.
So it is overturned.
Yes, let. Decision overruled. Gawad has 1 review remaining.
I mean, the track record of Gawad at the beginning of this season, he came off the summer break. He lost in the final to Ramy Ashour in Hong Kong.
Sure.
First World Series event final. Yeah. He then won Alaram, where he beat Ali Farag in that final. And then in the US Open, he beat Gregory Gaultier for the first time. So
stroke to Gawad.
He's on fast forward, really. It's literally every
that's an understatement.
every week that the tour is going on, he's kind of having a progression and getting a bit further. Shorbagy is struggling. He's done some heavy movements. I don't know if there's
please, Mr. Shorbagy.
a bit of a niggle in his Achilles area because he's had to do some huge lunges.
But he may need to take
it's in the
3-minute
Achilles, which
injury
is
time.
not.
Mr. Shorbagy, do you need an injury timeout?
Well, this is worrying times for Mohamed ElShorbagy. Did we see the incident take place? We're going to have a quick look. And
I mean, he's not looking very good there. This is Achilles tendon.
He can't put any pressure on his...
Mr. Sherbagi, do you need an injury break?
Yeah, can I have, how much time can I get?
Self-inflicted injury, 3 minutes.
See this again as he comes in.
Mr.
I don't know
Sherbagi
if
has
it...
sustained a self-inflicted injury. He has 3 minutes to recover.
I wouldn't say...
There's a slight wobble there.
I know there is, but I wouldn't say it was from any of those particular lunges. I think it's a build-up of what's gone on. He's a heavy mover. He's been moved around the court. He's having to do a lot of hard, improvised movements, and I think he's just got a lot of strain through that Achilles. He's a big lad, Mohamed ElShorbagy. But I mean, something in 3 minutes with your Achilles, if your Achilles is starting to get inflamed and it's getting very, very sore, the Achilles tendon is a lethal area.
It certainly is, but then on the flip side, you've got now mentally what Gawad must be going through, sensing that his opponent has an injury issue, and obviously getting through a finish line like this is never easy, but it's certainly not being helped by this situation. It's going to give him more time to think.
Oh, he's sore. I mean, you can see his face. Possible Achilles or ankle.
As you said, it could be a culmination of these constant hard movements into the front two corners. And he's quite heavy. So. It's a long last step that we see from ElShorbagy with a lot of weight.
Doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're biomechanically doing that, you're going to put your body under a lot of strain. I mean, it's not looking good.
Oh, that looks painful. The grimace on the face of ElShorbagy tells the real... Oh, he's just making sure... Looks like he's trying to break the ankle there.
I mean, you see the size of his foot, Sherbagi. He's got to be close to probably a UK 13.
He's up there, yeah.
Huge plates on him. Massive plates, but it's not looking good for him. Going to carry on.
Well, just a few last words of encouragement from the Sherbagi team.
So Abdul Gawad has just been hitting the ball on court while we've had this 3-minute intermission for a possible injury scenario for Sherbagi.
Well, rest assured, Gawad will put that into action very quickly on and test how the ankle's holding up.
Well, we've had one ankle injury sacrifice a semi-final. That was poor old Gregory Gaultier, not even able to turn up for his match with Ramy Ashour.
Yeah.
Let's hope that Sherbagi can continue at that tempo, because this has been a thrilling semi-final.
Oh, it's been brilliant.
Right box. 5-1.
He seems to be hitting the ball fine. The question is, how's the movement?
And
5-1.
as you said, the assassin will be putting that to the test as quickly as possible. There you go, straight into the front corner.
Decision, Gawad. Yes, left, 5-1.
Yeah, Gawad's gone.
I think he'd be happy with the let ball there, though, Joey, because it was a tight backhand drop. He was high from ElShorbagy. That's brilliant.
That's very well played.
Ankle seems fine.
Gawad is he's had to go in the front. He wanted to see what the situation was, but that's the kind of cat and mouse that goes on. You start thinking about your opponent a bit too much when there's a possible injury. You get distracted. Sherbaghi's done it himself a few times against players. It's too good.
Quality. Oh dear. So he actually looked like he rolled it on the ball there. Stepped on the ball, ElShorbagy.
Hand out, 6-2.
Watch this here as he comes in. Oh,
Yeah,
oh dear.
He did go over.
He's
So
in all sorts of trouble, ElShorbagy.
Please watch your space, Mr. Sherbagi.
Well, this doesn't look good either.
Oh my goodness me, he's holding his arm.
Court service, please.
Well, luckily it's the left arm of Gawad.
Decision, Gawad. Yes, let. 6-2.
Oh, it's just from more of an impact. It wasn't. I initially thought he'd hurt his kind of arm when he fell on the floor, but just a bit of a bump. He'd be okay. Well, plenty of stoppages, haven't we? We've had the 3-minute intermission, now the court maintenance.
It's never easy, is it? It was never going to be straightforward and plain sailing. That would have been far too boring.
The drama continues.
Well, I'm not sure I would have had the energy to go through Ramy Ashour and Gregory Gaultier.
No, no chance. Baggy's really trying to push this, PJ.
Well, he needs to, but I just feel that the relentless, continuous hitting from ElShorbagy is not causing major problems for Gawad. He needs to use the height. He's got to find that length. Because when it is fast and frantic like this, and with as well as Gawad's playing, it just makes ElShorbagy more edgy.
Well, this is going to be trouble for Sherbagi. It's fist pumping every time now for Gawad. He moves to 8-2.
8-2.
Sherbagi is trying so hard. Unfortunately, he's just not accurate enough. Physically digging so deep, Sherbagi. But it's loose and he looks comfortable, more comfortable than we've seen Abdul Gawad in this match. Could be a stroke though.
Sherbagi. Stroke to Sherbagi.
It was the first sort of wild shot we saw from Gawad
clear.
in quite some time. He's got the 8-2 lead, 8-3 lead now, but I mean the top spin drop. Hasn't played that all evening. You see, central referee looks absolutely exhausted.
It's too loose. It's too loose. And that
Needed that point, Gawad.
it did. It was just not accurate enough. It was a setup in that favoured area. You see the way he moves onto it beautifully. Textbook drop shot. He's done in there. So Abdul Gawad, with that boast, presents himself with 7 match balls for a place in the World Championship final. One is taken away.
Hand out 4-10 match balls.
Still 6 for the baby-faced assassin.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't take a little bit more time when he was serving with the match balls there, Gawad.
Decision, Sherbagi. Stroke to Sherbagi.
Let's not forget the time that ElShorbagy came back from 10-5 down in the 5th against Ramy Ashour in that World Championships.
In Qatar.
Down.
And there's the unforced error. Kareem Abdul Gawad has caused a major upset. It's nice to see from Mohammed ElShorbagy and Kareem Abdul-Gawad. That's lovely to see. Lovely to see. Kareem Abdul-Gawad, for the first time in his career, has beaten the world number one, Mohammed ElShorbagy, on the PSA World Tour to reach his first World Championship final. 90-minute marathon between these two young Egyptians. Abdul-Gawad overcoming Mohammed ElShorbagy 3-2. Well, it was so impressive from Kareem Abdul-Gawad throughout this event. He hasn't found his form, but when it really counted, semi-finals against Mohammed ElShorbagy, only 10 unforced errors compared to the 20 from the world number one. The world number one was very edgy, at times quite loose, and this is not the player you want to be playing if you're feeling like that. Abdul-Gawad is on cloud 9. He's had an unbelievable start to the 2016-2017 season, and it certainly continues into a final of a World Championship in Cairo. It couldn't be more perfect for Kareem Abdul-Gawad. He was superb in all four corners of the court, and he thoroughly deserved that victory tonight.
Kareem, we know you brought some tremendous form into this tournament. Hong Kong, Al Ahram, but tonight must eclipse it all.
Of course, it's the World Championship, and just beat number one in the world. Mohammed ElShorbagy is a great player, one of the toughest players ever. I'm really glad and over the moon to come through to the finals.
At this moment, I have to tell you that Ramy Ashour is sitting in his hotel, having watched you play for an hour and 3/4 or something like that. Can you recover well for tomorrow? You've got the biggest match of your entire career.
I mean, yeah, Ramy's a great player. Even if he played today 2 hours and a half, he's still a great player. So, of course, winning today is just a very big push. Even if we played 3 hours today, I will even recover very well. I will even come and do my best, and I will push and do everything to win tomorrow. So I think the push of the final will let me play, and will let me play like I didn't play today either.
Kareem, it was a joy to watch you today. And last question for you. This crowd, Egypt, Cairo, all the things in that heart of yours must have been raised by the support you've had.
Of course, everyone here is great. It's great, always great to play in your hometown, and it's Egypt, and everyone here knows what squash is. We have tons and millions of good juniors players, and we always have very good coaches and players, juniors, generation after generation. So I'm very happy to be here, and just want to say some words in Arabic. مبسوط جدا ان كلكم جيتوا النهارده وشجعتونا وخليتوا البطوله احسن ومن غيركم البطوله مش هيبقى ليها طعم حتى لو بطوله عالم. فمتشكر جدا ليكم، وان شاء الله بكره كلكم تيجوا كمان وتشجعونا بكره ان شاء الله.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you agree with me that the quality of a win is the standard of the player you beat. Mohammed ElShorbagy is one of the great players. This man has beaten him tonight. Today, a star has been born. Ladies and gentlemen, Kareem Abdul-Gawad. Well done, buddy.
Well, the autographs, he's going to have to be here for a long time. I think there's going to be nearly 1,000 autographs he's going to have to sign, Kareem Abdul-Gawad. Just in that interview, I mean, his demeanor is extraordinary. He's such a relaxed character. It's like he's just had a light sweat on the court rather than playing a rip-roaring semi-final, beating the world number one. Really unusual character, this young man.
This really was a stunning performance from Kareem Abdul-Gawad. An hour average match time coming into tonight's semi-final, and he showed no signs of fatigue as he dispatched of Mohamed ElShorbagy. He won the first game, the fourth and the fifth in very stylish fashion. Outplaying Mohamed ElShorbagy at times. The number 1 seed doing his best to fight his way through to the final, but he just had an answer for everything, Gawad. So deadly going into the front of the court, not allowing Shorbagy to dominate the pace and settle. At times a little bit loose, and there's the reaction of a thoroughly deserved victory for the baby-faced assassin through to his first ever World Championship final.
Well, who would have thought it? It was the baby-faced assassin that's been PJ, my co-commentator's dark horse for this event. And he is into the finals. So just recapping for the women's event here, the Wedi Degla Open. It's 2 locals, literally, from the club. Ranima Willili, the number 3 seed, taking on Nouran Gohar, the 19-year-old number 2 seed. That will be at 6 p.m. local time. But in the big billing, it's the Men's World Championship final. Kareem Abdul-Gawad, the number 6 seed, taking on Ramy Ashour, the number 5 seed. 8 p.m. local time.